What is going on, guys? We have an exciting video. As you can see, I made it back from our Rhode Island trip the other day, and we got the GT500 up on the lift. We have the built Calimer Stage 2 TR6060 ready to go in. We also have our strange 35 spline spool package to go in the rear end. We got Cody, Zach here to help, and hopefully we can get it going today, and it'll be a lot of fun. So we decided to go with the 35 spline strange spool axles, or strange axles. They have the very large studs on them. We got the spool, and we're going with 410 gears. Just kidding. I've been told a million times to do bigger gears than this, but this is an 1100 wheel horsepower car. 331s are going to be a lot of fun in it. So we're staying with 331 gears. I got a new 331 gear for it. We got our built Calimer TR6060, got all our parts laid out, and should be ready to go. So we actually already had this apart, Cody and I, and it's fairly simple. We left everything pretty much loose, just so we were able to roll the car. And we're gonna pull this off, and I guess Cody's gonna start disassembling rear ends, because the most I have ever done is just done the 15-inch brake conversion, taking the C-clips out, and that's about it.
I've assembled a few, so
I've always been afraid of rear ends since
it's not that bad. I mean, it's tricky for sure. I mean, make sure it's set up right, backlash is set right, and pinion depth set right. Otherwise, it'll either whine or it'll break. So, but I mean, once you get a few of them under your belt, it gets easier.
Yeah, plus it's a little bit simpler with a spool. There's a lot less stuff.
Yeah, there's a little bit less stuff, and I mean, you're dealing with a little bit less weight there, so when you're setting stuff up, there's a lot more access ability, so a little bit easier.
Gasket, you have the RTD gasket this?
Yeah, exactly.
There it is.
So I think he's got new of all this stuff too.
So we'll show the people the damage.
The actual ring gear.
Yeah, there it is.
So essentially, these are your two main caps here, and these get held into the actual housing. And this bolt up here is what backed out, and when this backed out, it let get play in the actual ring gear. And once it got play in the ring gear, the front pinion gear that turns this ring gear, just essentially took out the actual gear on it. So if it wasn't for that, it would have never happened.
So we're just cleaning this surface off because you're gonna RTV it when we put it back together. So you wanna make sure that there's no old RTV up there.
So have we talked about the fact that I'm going full race car with a spool?
No, we haven't.
So what's your thoughts? I know I've got a lot of comments.
Okay, there's so much misinformation about a spool out there. Like, people hear the word spool and they automatically think just like a race car, lots of noise, just you can't drive it on the street. Like, it's not the case. It's literally not the case. It's literally just like, I don't like using this term either, but it's essentially just like welding the diff. It's essentially just a straight cross through section, and both the wheels obviously turn together. There's no center diff, obviously, it's what a spool is. But when you're rolling around on a 15, like a sidewall of that size, the sidewall is so big that essentially when you start to turn, make a really aggressive turn, one tire will bite and the other tire will start to have to spin itself. And when you're on like a 20, yeah, it may make a little noise because the tires are cheating themselves, so it'll go and you'll feel it, you know what I mean? But when you're on a 15, the tire takes the like actual abuse, so like you can't even tell, you won't even be able to hear it on a 15. Like on a really soft sidewall tire like this, you'll be turning and you won't even know anything different because the tire is the one that's actually taking the abuse of turning itself over versus the other side of the tire actually biting. So it's not a big deal. It's not as aggressive as a lot of people think it is, but I mean, it's just what you're used to, but I mean, it's really not that bad.
Yeah, and my goal with building this rear end was to get something that isn't loud and supports the horsepower that we're making. And you know, if it drives a little awkward in a parking lot, I mean, it is what it is. Like, and look how simple. I mean, literally. So that's with the gear right there.
Yeah. So
we got this.
Essentially, just deletes the diff, so it's just a straight cross through section versus having a diff there.
Yeah, that's what the diff looks like.
Yeah, it's a whole new ring and new ring gear and new center section, but everything over there is essentially you just have a diff here, and that's what correlates the action of the tire spinning versus one knot during a turn.
Yeah. So in terms of like, there's so much less stuff to break here.
Yeah, we just have to press it in as well.
Yep. And then we got our new 35 spline axles. Those are some pretty big boys. A lot of people were saying go 9-inch. 9-inch is a lot more involved than, you know, it's talked about. Yeah. This is really a fairly simple
yeah, put a 9-inch in an S197. I mean, there's obviously different control arms that need to be had, and the suspension geometry is different.
Drive shaft.
Yeah, the suspension geometry is different as well. So there's like, especially when you start going really fast, you have to start doing like different lower control arm mounts, and that's actually fixed to the chassis and welded factory. They make a kit where you actually can cut these off and do like a drop down bracket to get the suspension geometry perfect with a 9-inch. But an 8.8, I mean, this has
already gone 1.5 60-foots, yeah. And it works pretty well. We got the Viking and the BMR stuff, so.
Yeah, a stock 3-link 8.8, people have been very, very fast with it with a new 05 to 14 Mustang, so it's been proven.
Yeah. So, we're gonna keep cranking on it, and it should be good to go.
Yeah, not gonna let that happen.
All right, so we got the TR6060 ready to go. If you guys need any transmission stuff, Calmer is the man. There's his info. Go to give him a call. He cleaned this thing up. The case actually looks really nice on it too. So we're ready to go ahead and slap this up in here.
All right, so Cody has the spool in. You want to explain to him what you're doing with the shims?
Yeah, so we're getting ready to set backlash and get a preliminary reading on what it's going to read out at. Ford calls for 8/8. I mean, everybody kind of knows this. It's 08 to 12 thou or backlash. So when you rotate the center section of the ring gear, make sure there's backlash set in that. Otherwise, once the gear expands and because of heat or cold, it needs to have room to play. So the factory shims, Ford has like these thick factory shims left and right hand side, and they set it to where it's perfect. Like when they get it out of their cars, like when they come from the factory, the shims they have in them, they don't have a bunch of shims. Like there's just one shim per side. So when like you buy a aftermarket differential, they usually send a shim kit which has a ton of shims, and essentially you're getting a reading and then you back it off. If the reading's right, which it usually, I mean, if you nail it right on the money the first time, you just got really, really lucky. Sometimes it takes 5-10 times, plus to get that backlash perfect. Luckily, like I said, the pinion gear was fine, so we didn't have to really play with the pinion gear much, set with pinion depth or anything like that. That's usually the pretty tricky part. Being that this is in factory spec, it's really no issue. So right now we're just setting backlash, we'll get a wear pattern on it, and then we'll go from there.
So that's the spool.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Drift car, baby.
That's right. And then Andrew and I have been working up front.
Yeah, we got the trans stuffed in here.
Yeah.
So
Now we just put the bolts in, start her up, open headers.
Alright, so what are you doing, mate?
Someone handed me a grinder wheel and said go to
Oh,
town.
you don't want to catch Corona?
That's exactly what this is, dude.
My rear end. Can't go back now. So since we went with C-clip eliminators, we had to chop the ends off, and that's what Zach did.
Yeah, that's my favorite part. Yeah.
Yeah, which sounds scary, but I mean, it really isn't that bad.
Yeah, it really got to be that precise. It's just make sure the end comes off the actual axle housing, so the C-clip limiter we're gonna bolt up to this and clear it. It's a hardened steel axle, obviously, so it's like cutting through it. It's not easy, so it just takes some time. Shoots a lot of sparks everywhere. So.
Yeah, that's the new unit. And got the drive shaft in. We're not too far off from.
Yeah, backrash is already set. It took about 3 times pulling in and out, making sure shims were correct. We got it dialed into right at 0.10, so I'm very happy with that. Wear pattern looks good, so shouldn't have any issues. Fingers crossed, but see how it goes.
This dude's ready to just grind. Oh, not yet, not ready to grind. Almost.
Just gotta take the 15-inch conversion brackets off and then start grinding.
Shouldn't be snapping these boys. Alright, so Cody's getting some RTV on the axle. We got both ends cut off, as we can see there. And I think we're just going to slide that axle in. This side is cut off as well. Should be getting pretty close.
Yep.
Got her all gunked up.
Yep. I just let this rotate on me. I think I just let it rotate on me.
Ooh, that's a nice fit.
Yep.
There we go. Alright guys, so we haven't updated you in a while. We've been cranking on the car. Rear end is done almost. It appears that we got the wrong brake caliper brackets. We got them for a stock 1314 GT500. And we have a 15-inch rear conversion. We have a different rotor. And we also have really big studs. We have the 5/8 studs. So I don't even think we can run 20s with this setup. So we don't have brakes hooked up right now. Really just gonna bring it out here in the trailer. Everything should work. We got trans fluid, we got diff fluid in it, transmission's in, rear end's in. It just doesn't have brakes, so I guess we'll see how it goes.
Cutouts just for good measure.
Race car, dude. Rip a fat burnout. You don't have an e-brake.
Rip a fat burnout?
Rip a fat burnout.
I don't know how well the front brakes work, bro.
Yeah.
That's
Especially with
almost
those sticky ass tires.
Yeah. Feel this.
Steering?
It works.
Working? Hallelujah.
It was a ground.
I know, it's crazy. Sounds good, man.
Feels nice.
Load her up.
I'd love to do a burnout, but honestly, I don't know if it'll stop.
I mean, we could go to the road.
I just don't know if it'll stop.
Yeah. Very soon.
Almost.
You're good, nothing's moved.
It's not hooked up to the truck. Did it just hit my truck?
No, it didn't. No.
No?
No, there's no way it hit your truck. But it's definitely not hooked up. No. Yeah, you're good.
It didn't hit the truck?
No. That was interesting.
So where do we go from here?
I mean, I think you have to back it up slowly, man.
Is there a chance it could hit the truck?
So start it up, exhaust closed. And then you're going to slowly go backwards.
Do you want to move the truck away?
I mean, I could.
I really don't want to f up the tailgate on that.
Yeah. Where's the keys?
I think they're in there.
We forgot the truck was not hooked up. Dude, I mean, at least we know how to load the cars when we're a slammy boy. Just don't hook it up.
Just don't hook it up.
Don't hook it up. You just aired out the trailer, dude.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. A little close for comfort. Go ahead and start it. And then, yeah, slowly go backwards. Keep going. All right, wait. All right, that's good. Let me go hook it up. Professional trailer hooker-upper. What'd you do, Andrew?
It must have been close hitting the tailgate,
It
right?
was very close. Wait till you see the footage.
Oh no.
Ejecto trailer, cuh.
Yeah, I thought it was done.
It was close, man, but it's, see how this, like, it's in here,
Yeah.
and then it's up here. It stopped literally like right here.